Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and you will never guess why Jeffrey Sandusky, Jerry Sandusky. I'm thinking Jeffrey Epstein because there are just so many parallels of power and the cover up of sexual abuse with Jeffrey Epstein, with Nexium, and nobody out there seems to know about this case, and that's what's so frustrating. But to bring this up because of what's going on with COVID 1984 and showing also how the media is hyping the return of Big Ten football, a USA Today piece saying it is the darkest day in that college football's history, the Big Ten. And people are like, are you out of your mind? And they even reference Sandusky in the tweet as somehow the serial abuse of children was less dark than allowing people to play football and fans to get together. That's not a parody. It's not The Onion. No, this is mainstream media today. But the thing is that mainstream media today and the system today, just like we showed you with Claire Bronfman and the Nexium case, and their inability to go after even more of these people legally, and the same thing with the Jeffrey Epstein case and their inability to go after any more of these people legally, and the length it takes for this stuff to even get noticed, not only in the mainstream media, but large law enforcement to do something about it, shows you why the Sandusky case is so important. So I'm going to break it down for you right here, and then we're going to show you all the evidence you're not supposed to know about. So what really happened in the Sandusky case? What really happened was there was a plethora of evidence that Sandusky was pimping out kids that were part of his Second Mile Foundation, one of George H.W. Bush's 1,000 points of light, to large donors to Penn State. And there were witnesses to this, and people tried to call it rumors. But then, when you brought in Louis Freeh, the ex-head of the FBI, who I would like to refer to as the cleanup crew here, to only point fingers in certain directions for limited accountability that would kind of come later, after you find out that somebody involved in the CIA knew about this for years, who worked for Penn State, and after they were outed, worked for the NSA and actually got convicted later of one count of child endangerment. Again, this shows you how much limited hangout all of this is, right? It's unbelievable. I can't believe more people are not aware of this. And the Burmis Brigade, I need you now more than ever to get this story in particular out, because we're 3 minutes deep on a video. We got 40 people watching, not even. 57,000 subscribers, 40 people watching. If you don't think that the YouTube algorithm is not against me, guys, I don't know what to tell you. They've already demonetized me for 5+ months. I need your help now more than ever over on the GoFundMe. $5, $10, $15 means the world to me. Thumbs this up, subscribe, share. And the thing is, forget about just ringing the bell. Go up to your stars and make this a favorite and just stop by once or twice a day. We do it 3 to 7 times a day here. And it's just crazy to me that we're sitting here talking about a very important topic, Jerry Sandusky's serial abuse of children and the people that he pimped those kids out to, and the subsequent cover-up. We're going to show you all that, right? But what's the media focusing on? Why is he trending? Because somebody, okay, from USA Today, this woman right here, Christine Brandon, writes an article, Big Ten's decision to play football signals darkest day in conference sports' history. Now, again, it's not lost on her. You know, she talks right here about Sandusky, Nassar, others, you know, all these dark things involving football. But she chooses, you know, COVID 1984 propaganda, and we've seen heavy propaganda from USA Today. So that's not a surprise. So let's show you right now why this is so much darker than the media ever portrayed it. Let's start here. Shocking Penn State rumor, Jerry Sandusky pimped out young boys to rich donors, 2011. Now, this is one of the last times Alex Jones and I were on the air together at InfoWars. In fact, this is the infamous time he says I begged for my job back. When I asked, basically when I said to him after we did the segment, I want back in. That was me begging for my job back, just to let you know if you've seen that video. But we talked about this because it was important. And it should be known that the connections between high-level government officials, big NGOs, right? Okay, non-government organizations, foundations, all this stuff is stuff I've been talking about for over a decade. And that's what frustrates me with this whole Q movement. And I'm not trying to bash anybody here, but think about it. You have them going out and just naming all these people that there's no evidence against, right? And then confusing that they're on flight logs here or they're on adrenochrome there. When we have real evidence, you know, Mark Madden went on Boston radio. We're not going to play the clip, but the clip is out there. You can still find it. I hear a rumor that there will be a shocking development from the Second Mile Foundation, that Jerry Sandusky and the Second Mile were pimping out young boys to rich donors. And he was talking to two prominent columnists. Now think about that. You know, we had John McDermott on this program for a 9/11 debate, but he's always talking about, oh, the press would just break any big story. They didn't break this one. Okay? We'd say this is ridiculous, and that it should be taken with a grain of salt, but Madden actually wrote about Sandusky for the Beaver County Times 6 months ago, long before the scandal blindsided everyone else this week. So in other words, he was ahead of the curve. He was way, way ahead of the curve talking about just Sandusky abusing boys. All right, let's follow that up. Witness, I saw Sandusky and Penn State booster abuse boys on a private plane. Again, never really got the mainstream stuff it deserved. This was all the way back in 2012. This is how much I've been following this stuff, guys. All right? Thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share, okay? A witness interviewed by federal authorities in the widening Penn State investigation claims he saw Jerry Sandusky and one of the school's prominent boosters sexually abusing boys on a private plane. Radar Online is reporting exclusively. The witness was interviewed by the U.S. postal inspectors and the FBI present, okay? And they broke the news of a new investigation into the pedophile ring that went nowhere because the cover-up crew came in. All right, Louis Free came in. All right, and he erupted after Grand Spanier's conviction, saying, see, he knew. He knew. But we're going to rewind to how they actually got caught in a moment. But right now, I want to focus on the fact that Sandusky was absolutely known, was absolutely abusing more and more of these children than you can imagine, including his own kids. All right, let's jump to that really quick. Sandusky's son, he groomed me to sexually abuse me. That was Matthew Sandusky. And then, just a few years back, Sandusky's other son, Jeffrey Sandusky, pled guilty to abusing young girls. So this man was entrenched in sexual abuse while being, you know, the assistant coach at one of the biggest college football programs out there, doing videos not only about football, but, you know, again, being a wrestling coach back in the day with small children. Dennis Hassert was a wrestling coach. They look pretty similar. It's weird. Just a weird coincidence. All right? But, again, you look at this, okay, and you find this out. And remember, I want to say this again, okay? Where is it? The Second Mile Foundation. George Bush's own foundation. Where is it? Is that it right there? No, that's not it. Hold on one second. That's Graham Spanier. Sorry, guys. We do it live. I lost it. Where is it? Oh, this is it right here. So just so everybody knows, even former President Bush in 1990 gave Second Mile a boost by choosing it as the 293rd of his 1,000 points of light. Remember, he used to talk about 1,000 points of light in his speeches. And one of those was a foundation that seems to be peddling kids. Now, let's get to it. Okay, where did this go? How do we even find out about this? McQueary, Mike McQueary, he was actually in the very beginning, long before it came out. I think it was almost a decade before it came out. Walked in on Sandusky abusing a kid. Now, I could be wrong about the exact time, but he went to the right officials and they smeared him. First, they said he was going to get the job because all of a sudden, Paterno was sick. Joe Paterno, obviously the legendary head coach. And they figured, hey, you know, Paterno got sick. He died. We'll just blame most of this on Paterno and the upper echelon that covered it up. Well, they smeared McQueary. Okay, here's McQueary. McQueary should have got the job. He was with Paterno. He felt trapped because he'd already told. He won millions. He won millions in the defamation suits. You never heard about that, did you? Bet you didn't. And remember, Graham Spanier was the guy that was supposed to be, you know, looking out for this and, you know, in charge. Oh, he got a huge CIA award and was briefing the CIA, and then afterwards, right? He gets hired by a secret government agency. Yes, the NSA hires him after the scandal. This is in 2012. So the guy who helped cover this up, who even Louis Freeh, okay, where is it? Even Louis Freeh, in his, you know, whitewash, there's Louis Freeh's statement on him, basically says, I told you he covered this up and he was part of the child endangerment. So let's just review this for a second. You're telling me an organization that was one of the 1,000 points of light under the Bush administration back in 1990, and remember the Franklin scandal that seemed to involve intelligence and high-level political officials out of D.C., right in those 80s, early 90s periods? Barney Frank and the alleged brothel being run out of his apartment, that 80s, early 90s period. The Finders, with all these weird intelligence connections, that 80s to 90s period. And now the Second Mile Foundation could have been abusing boys for a very long time. Sandusky himself gets caught and reported on, and the cover-up ensues until much later. Paterno dies. Sandusky looks like a lone wolf, right? And all this evidence says otherwise. And one of the guys that allegedly covered it up, not Louis Freeh. Louis Freeh's presented as the good guy. Again, Bill Barr's the cover-up crew now. You see how this works? You'll peddle a few of them out there. When the burn is just too much, when too many lower-level officials in, say, the NYPD and the Epstein case, right, keep going hard, okay, we'll give you a little something. So they gave him Sandusky, but not the donors, not the big bucks, not what was really going on, not exposing that child abuse still is and has been a big problem in this country. And, you know, that's why I want to end on a couple more facts, because I don't think anybody out there does themselves any services by peddling Johnny nonsense, okay? So, by the way, here's the Second Mile Foundation. You can look it up. But I want just everybody to understand that the amount of, I keep hearing 800,000 missing kids a year in the United States. Untrue. It's more like, for the past decade plus, 400,000. So, missing children, U.S. each year, okay? Missing children, how many missing children, stats. See, it says 460,000, I believe, so it's under 500,000. None of these stats are good, by the way. Okay, so this is Australia, India, the United States, 460,000 kids. Now, we also have to keep in mind, about 90% of those kids come back or are found. Okay, they're runaways, they're getting away from bad situations. In some cases, they're actually leaving sexual abuse situations. All right, that's a fact. However, this is what should startle the hell out of everybody. This is a huge number. What about the other 10%? What about the other 40,000 plus kids? That's a stark number to me. That's a real number that I can put out and go, wow, that is not good. And then every once in a while, you get one of these smaller level rings where you find out about the abuse of children in diapers, infants that can't speak, people filming it, right? This is real. These are things that are happening. You know, Blake Lively, for instance, did that one speech. She's not only an actress, but I believe the wife of Ryan Reynolds. So this stuff is real. It's very real. But we do ourselves no favors when we when we double the missing kids, and then we don't acknowledge that a bunch of them are found, even if they are in weird abusive relationships and families and all these, or in foster care, and there's a lot to consider there. You know, why all these kids are leaving and running away in the first place, or what's happening. But the stark number is, again, you're talking about 40,000+ children in this country gone. That's a lot. That's a lot. So guys, you won't hear this really in the mainstream media. We know that. You won't hear it in the alternative media sometimes. There's a lot of misdirection there. There's a lot of people focusing on other issues. But I just thought, man, I saw this. I saw the propaganda of COVID 1984 and the fact that they're saying somehow football coming back is going to be darker than Jerry Sandusky and the very probable pedophile ring and cover-up that most people still don't know about today. So if you enjoy this content, first of all, share the video individually. Don't just post it on your page. That's great. Post it on social media. No, find somebody who needs to know this info and share it with them. $5, $10, $15, it means the world to me. It's how I'm doing this 3 to 7 times a day. Big donors, need you now more than ever. We're going to do an Ask Me Anything soon enough, guys. Again, help me out. Thumbs the video up, subscribe, and share. Ring that bell while you can, but you really should just star it. Come back every day for your news. That's how you find out what I'm up to, because YouTube, they're probably not going to let you know. All the documentary films, Loose Change, Final Cut, Fabled Enemies, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Shade the Motion Picture are free right here, right now. If I get kicked off the platform, I will be exclusively over at Rockfin, and there are exclusives already at Rockfin. So go make yourself a free account right now and go check out The Graveyard Shift at the Union of the Unwanted for free. It's a video you can't find anywhere else. So I encourage you to check that out there. I love you. Thank you for joining me. Remember, this is real. Okay? This is a severe situation. This speaks to the larger problem of the press not being able to do their job and the upper echelons of government being the cover-up crew and the limited hangout crew that'll maybe burn 1 or 2 people, but then keep the truth from the American public and the world. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the flip side.